Detroit-style pizza starts with our own dough. Like most dough recipes, this one is very simple, 4 ingredients. For the dough, add 300 grams of bread flour, 5 grams of instant yeast, and 9 grams of kosher salt to the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a dough hook. Mix to combine all of your dry ingredients and then add 220 grams of water. Mix this on low for 2 minutes or until a shaggy dough forms. This is pretty much what a shaggy dough looks like. Once it looks like this, stop the mixer and let it sit for 10 minutes undisturbed. After your 10 minutes are up, continue mixing at a medium-low speed for 10 minutes. Knead until a soft and silky dough is formed. None of this has to be done in a stand mixer. You could easily do all of this same stuff by hand. Remove the dough from the hook and form a tight ball. It helps to move your hands quickly and deliberately. The high amount of water in this dough makes it pretty sticky and slack. Place the dough in a greased bowl and cover in plastic. It doesn't have to be tight enough to be a drum, but if you're gonna make a drum, you may as well play the drum. Let the dough rise for 2 hours or until doubled in size. As we make the sauce, it's a good time to preheat your oven to 550 degrees Fahrenheit or as high as it'll go, and set the rack to the lowest position. We'll need that later. To make the sauce, start with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan over medium heat. Wait until the oil is shimmering to add 3 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and a dash of red pepper flakes. The red pepper add a minimal amount of heat. Think of this more as a background or a base flavor to the sauce. Stir these around and cook for about 30 seconds. Then add a 28-ounce can of high-quality crushed tomatoes. I like San Marzano. Add 1 teaspoon of each onion powder, granulated garlic, and sugar. Stir this to combine everything. Bring this to a simmer with a few bubbles here and there, and let it cook for about 30 minutes. It'll reduce quite a bit and become much thicker. Before you're finished, add kosher salt and taste for seasoning. The requisite cheese for true Detroit-style pizza is called brick cheese. So called because it comes in a literal brick. It's an American-made cheese through and through, but it's not American cheese. It was originally made in Wisconsin and is very mild and has a medium softness. Perfect for melting, perfect for pizza. We will cut these into cubes of about 1/2 inch or 1.5 centimeters, and we need about 12 ounces or 340 grams. In the research I did for this episode, I kept having people tell me to use way more cheese than I think I would need. Kenji's recipe calls for 12 ounces, and we're going to use 12 ounces. The last item to prep is the pepperoni. You could obviously add anything you'd like, but I think of the Detroit-style pizza as a working-class pizza, and I wanted to keep it as straightforward as possible. The pepperoni cups are also slice the pepperoni thin, but not paper thin. You should only need about 1 of the links for this pie. Finally, it's time to assemble this pizza. But we do have to pause for a second. Let's get that hold music going. Yeah, there we go. The most important part of a Detroit-style pizza is likely not the pizza or the ingredients at all, but the pan that it's cooked in. Detroit-style pizza was created in 1946 at a place called Buddy Rendezvous by adapting a Sicilian-style pizza. The pizzas were actually cooked in auto parts trays that were widely available in Detroit in the 40s. According to the story, some of those 50 to 75-year-old pans are still in use today. This is my new auto parts pan. Well, it's a pizza pan that I got from DetroitStylePizza.com. It came pre-seasoned and ready to go. It's very deep and very sturdy. It's made of steel. You don't have to get this authentic with it, but you do need deep walls and something sturdy. This cost around $30, so I thought it was worth the investment. Now that we have our pan, let's build this thing. To start, use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan and work it over every surface with your hands. Place the now doubled dough into the pan and work it into every corner. It helps to keep the oil on your hands. This dough is very sticky. As you're working the dough, it may want to spring back. If so, poke some of the air out and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. It should be good after that. Once the dough is worked over the entire pan, we start with the layer of pepperoni. You don't need a ton. After that, we add all of the brick cheese. Make sure it's spread out evenly, but especially concentrated along the edges. Next, your pepperoni, or whatever you choose as a topping. And last, you'll need 3 stripes of sauce. Yes, the sauce is on top. No, it doesn't turn out like a Chicago-style pizza. Because we have the cheese in cubes and spread out, the sauce melts down into the cheese. There will be some sauce on top, but it all boils into a pleasant magma of pizza topping in the end. Also, people really gotta stop complaining about sauce on top of a pizza. Those of us that like it don't really care, and I like all pizza. That's it, your pie's ready to go. Place this on the bottom rack of your preheated oven and bake for 12 to 15 minutes or until you see the top starting to look golden. Blammo, a Detroit-style pizza. Look at that thing. No, actually listen to that thing. It's a true beauty. Take a thin spatula along the outside and free the baked on cheese. Then lift the pizza out of the pan and onto a cutting board. Slice and serve. This is a truly special pizza. The bread is pillowy soft, the cheese is gooey and rich, pepperoni crisps up so nicely, and the cheese along the edge is just a real treat to top it all off. Don't plan to eat more than 1 or 2 of these slices, but it is divine. I have a lot more to say about this pizza, so let's give it a taste.